Hello, this is my first time talking on this channel, and I will just say that what I am doing, and since there's been a current change of plans, is making a different world completely. Basically, it's a challenge a friend gave me. He said that and asked if I could do this, and so I've decided to go ahead and make this world, and it will be voiced by me, specifically because the idea is currently cortiosepse, two people isolate from each other and things. One's insane, yada yada yada. I will just say that one person, the only reason one person is insane because they've been isolated, both of them are isolated. Right there. Words, why can't I do this? But aside for freaking up that word, the voice acting being by me, and since I've never really done voice acting, don't expect overwhelmingly greatness. I'm not the greatest at this, and this is the first time I've ever really done something like this, though it is very interesting. It is a very, very interesting project for me to do. Meanwhile, I'm very interested in doing this. It is also very confusing, because, one, I've already made the themes which sound much better than how one of the two characters I've already just now voiced a little bit ago sound. But they are good-ish, I guess. One of them is good, and the other is just okay-ish. Trying to make sounds of one of the characters hitting something, specifically one of the cortiosepse zombies things, it wasn't the easiest task. And meanwhile, I got one good recording, and another one which was bad. I ended up getting the one that was bad because I ended up freaking up the first one. And I don't know how to re-record that part. I'm recording this with Audacity, and I still am not fully sure how to use Audacity, so keep that in mind. I do have a video editing software, which, but I'm just gonna read the basis I wrote up on my computer, which is two people, frickin', the first sentence, frickin', how do I mess this up? You can tell I'm not the best at this. Okay. Two people, both isolate. Are you freaking kidding me? Why must this happen to me? I'm lucky this didn't happen when I was doing either of the two characters' voice recordings. Why does this have to happen now? It happened earlier after I was done with one of them, for frick's sakes. Okay. Trying to fix this audio, because it's for some reason going to the red a lot. Maybe I just have a loud voice for some reason right now. But, okay, well, I'm just gonna try and fix this. Okay, there we go. I think that's a bit better. But two people both isolated from each other. Cortiosepse mutation bugs human. One person sane, 23, a guy. And the other person insane, 30, and also a guy. Last two on the end of extinction, cortiosepse caused said extinction. Rapid mutation of the fungus and what it infects bends those it afflicts. Yeah, good frickin' looking at words, Jesus. I wrote this! Yeah, Jesus. Okay, let's try this a frickin' again. Rapid mutation of the fungus and what it infects bends those it infects to its will. Works like eye of mine, produces oxygen from carbon, actively kills any other sentient life form that is not a part of it, or any life that isn't a part of it. Nuclear warfare killed off mass population of it. Rapid mutation caused its capability to be in radiation and further resistance. More eggs found in bodies, they were alive while eggs were implanted. Far too many species of insectularia. I kind of forgot what I named it, and I think that's it, I don't know. But to determine a more correct name is high mutation infective cortiosepse. If scratched by infected, you are infected. No cure, and no way to be cured. That is the base I wrote up for this thing. It is a interesting world. But the reason my friend suggested I do this, or asked of me to do this, which I have decided to go ahead and do, specifically because I wanted to see if I could make a world like this, and actually voice act it and things. The reason he asked this is, if you're familiar with the newest I forgot, but if you frickin' words, why can't I word right now? I was able to word for two kind of scripts, but if you know The Last of Us and their new game, you would know that they killed Joel. And meanwhile, I don't know the entire story of it. I just know that this was a freaking horrible story decision. The worst story decision they could have ever done. And no, I'm not re-recording this because of that phone. But that was the worst story decision they could have ever made. And everyone's pissed off about it. They're also pissed off that you get to play as the character that kills Joel. Yeah, congratulations, you fricked up a story. That's the greatest story. They think it's cause my friend said that they think it's cause Ellie, the girl in the game, is lesbian. No, that's not the fricking issue. If you kill off a key character and you need to kill off that key character, do it at the end where it makes half more sense. And you need to go out with something and the character's new determination, not just fricking leave it with a bittersweet ending, for frick's sakes. That's the worst story decision I've ever seen in this story that I don't know much, if anything, about. What I do know is that Ellie is immune to the virus, which is cortiosepse, and my friend suggested me that I go ahead and make a better story than that, and I don't know if I can actually do that. Now, let me just say, they have a much better grounded world. A world that everyone rioted and was pissed off that they killed a very good and well-made character. I don't know, and I don't have that much resources and time to make those kinds of characters. And I would also like to say that one of the two voice acts I did sound worse than the other. One sounds good, and the other doesn't. And one of the characters' names is Harvey, and the other character's name is Stefan. They're both guys. And I'm just gonna say this now, that I have just realized how difficult it would be for me to even try to make a girl character. That would be legitimately impossible for me. I'm but one person. Trying to do this. But basically, that's what my friend challenged me to do. Make a better story than that. I'm just going to say I'm going to try and make a better beginning type of thing, or story general, than that specific game. Just the general better thing. There's two people you get to see, both of their perspectives, both of what they are and what they do. You don't just I'm not just gonna outright kill one of them for no reason. I'm not just going to kill one off just for the sake of killing one off. Because specifically, I have a plan of how this story is going to go. And I'm not a stupid idiot that haven't watched the previous idea of this. And for frick's sakes, I just made this idea too. I wrote down the basis, my friend liked it, but one of them is insane, one isn't. Pretty simple. The insane person's 30, and the other one's like 23, as if I brought up the basis and looked at it again. But I'm not gonna do that, because I already put it down, but basically, that's the basis of the story. Cortiosepse, except this version of cortiosepse, or my version of cortiosepse, is they infect everything. Not fish, since they're underwater, but everything. They literally have an insane mutation rate. A mutation rate that affects anything they get into. Basically, the mutation rate completely fricks over your body as soon as it gets in. After a small bit of being infected, you eventually start fricking getting your limbs broken. Because the fungus is breaking them actively. But why? Because it's uncontrolled, uncontained, unmanageable mutation that's just making it grow out of control in whatever infects. And meanwhile, it does work to somehow kill all of humanity, because frickin' that's logic for you. Logic of any real apocalypse scenario, aside from ones that make sense, for example, Combine or Antilines, etc., which are two games which Half-Life is a game I've recently been interested in, not much ago. But basically, it's an extremely high mutation, rapid, like you can get the same bug with in a completely different array of physical appearances and disabilities. that is what this mutation technically is. So basically, every last thing that it infects is going to be different. Sure, you may have a tiger that's perfectly fine, different with its eyesight, and then you got another tiger that can frickin' break it, that's literally just disabled and can hardly do much except grow. That is what this is. It's literally something that infects bugs, makes them bigger, breaks everything it can, and it's just uncontrolled, highly contagious mutation, right? And meanwhile, like, I've even thought about how deers and mooses would react to this, and they just charge at anything that's alive that's not within their hive mind. Which, frickin', I must say, if you see a fungus-covered rhino or something charging at you 5 miles an hour, what are you going to do? Run? That thing's charging at you, and it's fricking alive, and it knows every direction, because there's more of them. There's always going to be more and more. It's infected everything, every last being on the planet. And meanwhile, I don't know how this world's going to completely work. I will just say that that's the basis of the fungus. The fungus basically is an extremely mutations and infects whatever it can in it. Whatever it infects becomes extremely mutated as well. That's it. The fish aren't affected because, well, they're freaking underwater. How are you going to make underwater spores? It's when you're highly mutated, then you can't control it. The fish aren't affected, thus the best possible food source you can get is fish. So expecting sushi. Though I don't know about eating sushi. I've never eaten sushi after eating fish, which is not sushi. Actually, there's probably just gonna eat fish. Who knows? But basically, that's the basis of the fungus. And how it differs. Basically, if a human gets infected, you're not just gonna become a clicker or something. No, you're gonna freaking keep mutating and mutating until it just can't. Basically, it's just gonna grow out of you, and sometimes you might become blind. Not always, just sometimes. You're not just gonna be fast and running. You're not gonna be hobbling around. You're going to be dead but alive in extreme pain, and just that bit that stopped mutating is just going to be sitting there causing immense amounts of pain. That's what's going to be happening. And no matter what the frick you try to do, there is no cure. It's impossible to make a cure because everyone is dead. There's only 2 people alive. And because only 2 people are alive, there is no possible way for, well, a more clearly foreshadowed conflict already, because one of them is insane. That it is going to be one person alive and they're going to die. That's it. As much as that ending is clear, it's a very I think it will be very interesting to watch and see where these 2 characters go. Harvey and Stefan. Both guys. And now I think about how it would be painful to be a girl. Not legitimately, but just the fact how difficult it would be to make a character a girl when I'm one person. Because I thought about that, and it's like, no, it's not going to work, is what I realize now. And I'm glad I went with this decision, because that would have been the most difficult thing for me to do. I would have taken far longer to even begin to try and even make that kind of character. But I'm glad I went with the other, just 2 people. And it's also the fact I don't want to just have characters reminiscent of that series. So yeah, I will say that this is not only my first introduction in voice to this channel, but basically it's a very, very different thing. And I will be releasing the meetings. Actually, hold on. I need to rack my brain for a second, frick sakes. I'm going to be releasing their first meeting themes, because there's going to be a different theme for the rest of them. Meanwhile, it's just the normal theme, but edited. I will release the first original theme that I have made of meeting Stefan and Harvey. You can take your guesses as to which one of the 2 are insane, but it's going to be very clear when the first one. I'm pretty sure they'll also notice which one of the 2 is worse than the other. One of them turned out better. So yeah, I will be seeing you once this has been done. A proper introduction, or even more proper introduction, and just over basis of this world is what this was. a much more proper introduction to my channel or something, I don't know. But I'm probably going to do something like that later on with this Audacity and editing. Who knows? I have much to learn, and we all do. I shall be seeing you. Music content is